Hi everyone. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon. We have different people from different time zones, and this is one good thing of virtual meetup. So everyone can join from different time zones, and welcome all. And this is Indianapolis' second meetup, and this is the first meetup for this year. And this meetup will be on one-way SSL and two-way SSL, and we have trivia as well at the last. So let me start with the introduction. Can you see my screen? Yeah. I'm Ikram, and I am an integration associate at One America, which is an insurance company located in Indianapolis, US. And I'm a MuleSoft meetup leader for Indianapolis, and I have total 15 years plus of experience in IT. And on integration services, I have 5+ years of experience, and I am a certified MuleSoft integration developer and a platform architect. I recently got the platform architect certification, but I'm still learning more through the meetups. So. Next is a speaker who's our Jitendra, also known as Jackie, and he's very famous among the MuleSoft community. So Jackie, welcome, and you can introduce yourself.
Yeah. So myself, Jitendra Bafna, and like I'm working as a senior solution architect for the Capgemini, and I'm also a Surat MuleSoft meetup leader, and overall like 12.5 years of experience in the integration in the API technology, and like I am certified integration as well as platform architect. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Jackie. So let's move on to the agenda. So the agenda will be one-way SSL, implementing one-way SSL with MuleSoft, then with two-way SSL, then implementing two-way SSL with MuleSoft, live demonstration on one-way SSL and two-way SSL. Then we have something in addition, which was not part of the agenda initially, but Jackie was generous enough to add one more topic, which is implementing HTTPS proxy with MuleSoft. And finally, we'll have the references and the trivia quiz. So Jackie will start the presenting going forward, and anyone any questions, please post on the chat. So I'll be having a look at the chat and I'll record all the questions. And Jackie, do you want me to ask you the questions at the moment, or we can wait until you cover a topic?
So basically, if I cover one-way SSL, right? So we can take all the questions related to one-way SSL after that. Then we can cover two-way SSL like that. No? So one topic, and once I finish one topic, then we can take other questions.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So please go ahead and put your questions in the chat. So I'll just keep noting all the questions, and we can answer all the questions once we cover certain topics. Okay, so Jackie, can you present? I'll stop presenting right now.
Okay. Just let me know once you see my screen.
Yes, I can see now.
Okay. So guys, welcome, and like agenda for today's meetup, like we will going to cover one-way SSL. So basically we will try to understand like what is one-way SSL, and like later it will follow up with one live demonstration. Then we will like see what is two-way SSL, and like how two-way SSL is different from one-way SSL, and we will see a live demonstration on implementing two-way SSL. Then also like we will see like basically when you deploy a MuleSoft application into runtime manager, or generally you create a API proxy for that or API auto discovery. So we will see like how we can leverage a secret manager to enable HTTPS proxy with MuleSoft. Then there are references, and then it follow with a small quiz. Okay. So what is a one-way SSL? Before I go into one-way SSL, like we try to understand what is a private key and what is a public key. So basically a private key is always used to decrypt your data basically, and you never share your private key with anyone. You always keep a private key with yourself, right? Generally, you always share a public key with a client. So public key is used to encrypt your data. So whenever client want to encrypt the data, it can use the server public key, which will be configured at a client end. Then client send the request. Then we have a private key, which we never shared with anyone. So generally that private key is used to decrypt your data. So these are the two things we need to understand. before we move into one-way SSL. So I will repeat. Private key is basically used to decrypt the data. We never shared private key with anyone. Generally, we extract a public key from the private key and we give it to the client. And the public key can be only used to encrypt your data basically. Okay. So one-way SSL, like in one-way SSL, like client only verify the server. Like in that case, like the client make sure like like client is sending the request to the correct server, right? So basically, server doesn't verify the client in one-way SSL. So basically, what happens in one-way SSL, a client will send the request to the server, but before that, client make sure it sending the request to the trusted server. Okay, but server never verify the client. But in two-way SSL, client also verifies server and server also make sure I am getting the request from the trusted client. So this is the difference between one-way SSL and the two-way SSL. I will repeat. In one-way SSL, a client always verify the server and make sure it is sending the request to the trusted server. In two-way SSL, client will make sure like it is sending the request to the trusted server and server is also make sure like it communicating with the trusted client. So that is the two-way SSL. So one-way SSL only client verifies the server certificate. At server end, there will be the key store that will hold the private key and the public certificate of the server. Whereas at the client end, there will be trust store that will hold the public key of the server. I will explain. So basically, in one-way SSL, we will have a client, we will have a server. Okay, the server will have a private key, and we will extract the private key and a public key from the private key, and we will give it to the client. So client can configure a public key at his end. Okay, so generally a client will maintain a trust store. So in trust store we generally store a public key. So client will maintain a trust store. Okay, whereas server will maintain a key store where it will store a private key. So basically I will explain this better with diagram. So client will send a hello and request for the resources on the secure HTTP protocol. So client will send the request to the server. Like server want to access some resources from the server, like client want to access some resources from the server. So client will send the request to the server. So before like it's sending the request, it has to make sure there is a SSL handshake happen between the client and the server, right? So the client will send some hello, and it will request for some resources on the secure HTTPS protocol. Now this what will happen? The server will respond back with a public key, okay, with .crt and send hello back to the client. Now the client, as we know, like we have configured a trust store on the client side. So client will verify the public key which is received from the server, right? If client is able to successfully validate the public key, the client will also encrypt the data. It will generate one key, it will encrypt using public key and send back to the server. Okay, now if now server able to decrypt that key using the private key, it means then it will send the response back to the client like I am able to decrypt that key. It means the client is communicating with a trusted server. Okay, I will explain better with diagram. So this is how the diagram looks. The step one, we need to understand we have a trust store which is configured on the client side. We have a key store which is configured on the server side. So basically key store contain a private key of the server as well as the public key. So basically each private, you can extract public key from the private key basically. So key store will contain your private certificate which will be the configure on the server side. The trust store will be configured on the client side, which will contain a public certificate basically, that server public certificate. Okay. Now the client will send a request to the server. So they are doing the SSL handshake, saying hello, and it will request for the resources. Now the server will send a public certificate. So server can extract the public certificate and send to the client. Now the client will verify the public certificate which is received from the server. If that particular certificate available in the trust store, it means like the certificate has been successfully verified. Now client will generate one encrypted symmetric key. So basically it will generate one like key which will be encrypted using the public key, okay, and sent to the server. Now server will use the private key to decrypt that symmetric or that session key. Now, if once it able to decrypt that session key and send the response back to client, I am able to decrypt that key. It means the client is sending a request to the trusted server. Now they can start communicating over the secure channel basically. So that is what happening in the one-way SSL. I will repeat. So basically what happens, I will again repeat, like client has to maintain a trust store and server has to maintain a key store. So key store generally contain a private key, trust store generally contain a public key. Okay. So client has to make sure like it is sending the request to the trusted server. So the client will initiate a traffic towards the server saying hello, and it will send some cipher, supported cipher to server. Now server will again send back a public certificate to the client, so like public certificate to the client, like then now client will verify the public certificate. So basically we have already configured a server public certificate in the trust node. So if that public certificate match which server has been changed, then the client will create one symmetric key. It will encrypt that key and send to the server. Now the server will try to decrypt the symmetric key. If server is able to decrypt that, then it will send response back to client. I am able to decrypt that. Then there's a communication will enable between client and server in the secure channel, basically in the secure pipeline. Okay, so your transport layer is secure. Now your data will like send between client and server in the secure manner.
Jackie,
Yeah. Yeah.
can you hide that button there, like the meetup rules of
Yeah.
sharing? So some people are not able to see that.
Yeah. Just a minute. Yeah. So it will like it will communicate over the like secure channel, basically like the data will be passed to the encrypted channel basically between client and the server. And like any question on one-way SSL, like Ikram, I can take some question before I move into demo for one-way SSL.
Anyone has any questions? Can you please put it in the chat? I think so. No one has any questions. Okay. That's one question from Kundan. Can we have multiple public and private keys in key store?
Yes. So Kundan, you can have it. So basically when you create a key store, that key store can contain a multiple private key. When you create trust store, the trust store can contain a multiple public key. That is okay. Like you can definitely do that, but you have to make sure when you add a multiple private key in the trust store, you have to give the alias. So that alias must be unique basically.
And one question from Varuna. What is a private versus public key?
Okay, so the basically a private key is always configured at a server side, and it is always configured on the key store basically, and it is used to decrypt the data basically. Okay, and we never shared a private key with anyone, whereas public key is always shared with the client. Okay, and it is configured in the trust store basically. Okay, and it is used to encrypt your data basically. Okay, the next question.
Is the public key generated at server and is sent to client prior to have communication?
Yes, Janardhan. So basically, like when you create a private key, right? That private key contain a public key as well as the private key. So you can extract that public key and give it to the client, right? So if you are not giving the public key to the client will not able to, like the client will not able to communicate with like server. I will tell you why. So basically we have one step where the client, like we have configured a server certificate on the trust store, right? That already before they enable or they start the communication. Now the server send a public certificate to the client. So what does client do? It verify the public certificate. If we haven't configured that certificate, then like the client will not get the certificate, and it will like say like the server is untrusted. So that's why we have to configure it prior.
Okay. And next question is from Srinivas. He's saying key store contains only private keys or combination of private and public certificates.
So generally, Srinivas, see, if you see the key store and the trust store is same, they are the two different name basically. Okay. So key store can contain, say, generally what happen, it's a naming conventions. So basically, generally we say key store should contain only private key and trust store should contain only public key. It doesn't mean like you cannot store a public key in the key store. You can do that, but make sure like keep it separate. If you have any public key or whatever, right, keep it in the trust store. If you have some private key, all keep all those private key in the key store. So that is done, you have to do.
Okay. Next question is from Madhusudan. What is a root certificate and intermediate certificate?
See, generally what is happening, there's a chain of certificates, right? When you generate a key, like certificates, right? So generally there is a chain of certificates, to secure your communication more, right? So you generate chain of certificates, like root certificate. Under root, we can have a like sub certificate. That sub certificate is an intermediate certificate, right? So generally what you do, you segregate your data between the certificates, like keys between your certificate. Okay.
So different certificate, like root certificate will have a different key and intermediate certificate will different key. That does that mean that?
No, it will not have a different key basically. It see what happen, either you can create a one certificate, so you will have everything in the one certificate, okay, or either you can create like chain of certificate. Okay, so basically like something will be in the root certificate, something get into the intermediate certificate basically. Okay, so I don't know like exactly what data will be in the root certificate and what will be the intermediate certificate. So generally when you like get a certificate from CA authority or anyone, right, so
Yeah.
you will get intermediate and you will get the root certificate basically.
Okay. Next is from Vijay Kumar Vaka. Symmetry key mechanism to establish the communication channel, right? So I think so he needs to ask whether symmetry key mechanism is used to establish communication, and a symmetry key mechanism is to exchange the data between both the parties.
No, so yeah, generally if you see in SSL, we use the symmetry key mechanism, but for data like encryption and decryption, you can go with symmetric as well as the is asymmetric also. So it doesn't matter. Okay, so basically if you see, we have something called Java cryptography extension or like PGP algorithm. So like those are for encrypting and decrypting, you can use those algorithm, and it depends like what kind of key you want to use, symmetric or asymmetric. You can configure those there.
Okay. Sridhar has added his
Yeah,
inputs.
so generally, yeah, see the identity key store is basically, it's a key store, and trust key store is basically, yeah, it's a trust store basically. Yeah, so that is same. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay. All good questions coming up. Thanks. I think so. We are good for now.
Okay, let me share my screen again. So like let me go with a demonstration now. So basically how we can configure. So generally what we will do, the first thing, we will generate a server key store with a private key. So we can use a key tool utility or OpenSSL kind of utility basically, okay, for generating any key. As I mentioned, like somebody asked me, can I store a multiple private key in one key store? So yes, you can do that. Make sure you give the alias basically mule server, okay, and then I am giving a key size. So generally always make sure you give the no your key size must be highest basically, length must be more, greater. Like you can go up to 4096, or I don't think it support 8192 or not, but up to 4096 I know it support. Then you can give the key algorithm, RSA, DSA. There are various algorithm available, and where you want to generate a key store. Then export a public key from the server key store. Now I want to share my public key with a customer, right, with a client. So you can extract your public key using this particular command, key tool export alias mule server key store, and this is your key store location, and you can save file. You can extract this particular certificate. See, now I'm saying this is my alias, so I want to extract a public key, from this particular certificate. So this alias is very important. Okay. Now finally I will generate a client trust store and import a server public key. So basically key tool import alias. So here I again giving the alias mule client public whatever, then key store. So I'm saying key store again, but this time I am saying generate a trust store. So as I mentioned, key store, even these are the two naming convention. but key store and trust store are same, but generally trust store is used to like store your public key, and like key store is used to like store your private key. And finally I will generate this trust store. So let me go. So key tool or open SSL, any utility you can use it. So generally if you see key tool is come up with your JDK basically. Okay, so I will use the open JDK. So you can go to bin. In bin you will have a key tool. So this is your key tool. So I can say cmd. Let me copy one command one by one. So first I am generating a key store with a private key. Just I am saying enter. So I will say password. I will give a password to my key, a key store. I am saying MuleSoft. Then always like for your first name and last name, it is generally recommended to give your like domain name. Okay. So in my case, I am using a local host as my domain name. I will give this as a local host. You can give your organization unit as IT. You can leave it empty also. I can, okay. So you can leave it empty also. No need for that also. And yes, now it will ask each private key have its own password. Okay. So generally you should have question why two password. I will tell you before you ask me. I will tell you. So generally there's a two password. One is for key tool. Oh, sorry. One is for key store, and the second password is for your private key, which you have extracted or which you have exported in your key store basically. So these are the two password. Okay. Now I will export a public certificate. Let me export this, copy. Okay. Enter. So what I've done, key tool export alias. So this is my alias. From this particular key, private key, I need to export a public key. So I am exporting my public key as a C drive at certificate public CRT. Enter. It will ask for the key store password. It extracted. Let me show you. So it's C drive certificate. You can see server public.crt server key. Now I want to generate a trust store also. For generating trust store, what I'm saying, key tool import alias mule client key store, and I'm generating this client trust store, and I am importing this particular public key which we have generated in the second step. I will copy this command. I will say yes, trusted. So I have already generated key store and a trust store. So what I will do, I have created a small MuleSoft application. Okay, and like generally you can copy this certificates, and you always paste under source main resources, paste it. Okay, so now I will create a HTTPS endpoint. So I will use HTTP listener. I will start configuring this HTTP listener. Okay, so I have to first do a connector configuration, and like I will just change port 8082. Generally I recommended to go with, for HTTPS I go with 8082. Change this to HTTPS. Now I have to do the TLS configuration. You can say edit inline. Here, let me relate with this diagram before I go with demo. So now HTTP listener will be our server, this part. So I have to configure only a key store on my HTTP listener, correct? So I don't want to configure trust store. I just want to configure a key store. So our key store type is JKS path. So path means where is your trust key store located. Either you can give a full path, but my trust store is key store is located at a class path. So I just want to give server there might be question. I will explain some more thing like no like there might be few questions coming like when we deploy application on the Cloud Hub or Mule runtime, how I can externalize a key store. I cannot use like multiple key store for each and every application. I will go with that also. Okay. Then I can give a Mule server. Then I have to give a key password which I kept as a MuleSoft only. Then key store password which is I kept as a MuleSoft only. Okay. These are the settings you need to do. Say okay. Also, I need to give a path. I can simply say SSL1 or SSL enough, right? Then I will just say set payload. So now what we have achieved till now, we achieved this particular part, right? Now I have to want achieve this. I want to create some client which can send the request to server and can do the proper handshake. So let me drag and drop. So what I will do, I will create a client. I can create one more HTTP listener. Okay. Here I will create. I will create this HTTP listener on HTTP only. So I can say HTTP okay, and here I can say SSL1. Now I will create a request. So basically this is my client. Somebody will send the request on HTTP listener. This requester will send the request to the HTTPS listener basically, and we have to configure a trust store. I will show that just a minute. Any question? Anything?
There was one question from Vijaya that was.
Yeah, Vijay. In real time, client party will have a one public key to distributed party. Yes. See, if you have a one private key, if somebody was trying to, like connecting with same HTTP listener, right? So you can share that same public key with all the client, all the client which want to communicate with you basically. See now, like generally it should not be like that. In that case, you have to manage them then multiple private keys. See, one private key can have only one public key. Okay, in that case, like if multiple traders are there, you are talking about the AS2 and like EDI kind of scenario, right, Vijay? Yeah. So in AS2 also, like like you can have a multiple endpoints, multiple listener, and you can configure different private key with each the AS2 listener basically. Okay, but one HTTP listener or it can be AS2 listener, you can configure one private key and can share only one public key with a client basically. Okay. Yeah. So let me see what is happening there. So now in requester, what I will do, I have to send the request to HTTPS. So basically I can say HTTPS localhost, it's 8082 slash SSL1, I think, or it's SSL. Let me check. Just want to make sure like I don't send the request. Yeah, it's SSL and it should be on SSL1. Yeah. Okay. So let me go back to request and I will configure this plus, and I can say HTTPS. Okay. Let me run this application, save this application. Once I will save it, it should deploy. Till that, let me use C URL. So which is C URL mine X get, I want to send the request to 8081. So you can use the curl or any Postman also, that's fine. But the curl it's better for now. Waiting for my application. Yeah, it's deployed. Let me send the request. So can anybody tell me why we got this general SSL engine problem? Can anybody tell me this? Anybody? No, it's not about self-signed certificate. I will just open the diagram. You can tell me, like, so what is happened? What we have forget, like, we have forget something on the client side basically. No, no. I think the answer from Suresh Kumar, we haven't configured trust store yet, right? That is true. So basically, no, on the requester side, what you have to do, you have to configure the trust store, right? If you see, if you see that diagram, in that we have to configure a trust store, right? So you can go to request. So request, this is, but HTTP requester is the client. Okay, on the client we have to configure a trust store. You can edit a request configuration, and you can go to TLS configuration, edit inline, and you can give a path. So it's client trust store .gks. Also for trust store, we don't have to give any alias also. So generally when request come, it automatically identify the certificate, go and search in the trust store and get the certificate. Okay, you don't have to give, but for server you have to give it. For like key store you have to give it. MuleSoft and type. What is our type? It's GKS. Let me check if spell is correct. Okay. Okay. So let me try now. So we got handshake successful. So the it like it able to exchange the keys and everything successfully, and it able to communicate on the secure channel. That's why we got handshake successful. So this is how you can implement a one-way SSL with a MuleSoft. Okay. So next, if there's any call, any okay, yeah. So I will move on to next slide to two-way SSL. Okay, so basically, as I mentioned, in one-way SSL, only client makes sure like it is sending the request to the trusted server, whereas in two-way SSL, it client is making sure like it is sending the request to the trusted server, as well as a server will also make sure it is sending or communicating with the trusted client basically. Okay, so two-way SSL client verifies the server certificate and the server verify the client certificates. At the server end, there will be a key store which will hold the private key and the public key of the server. So basically what will happen in this case, we will have a like server, we will have a client. On server side, we will have a key store which will have a private key of the server. Okay, it will have a trust node also which will have a public key of the client. Now the client will also have a key store and the trust store. So key store will contain a private key of the client and the trust store will contain a public key of the server. Okay, so that is what it explains. So at the server end, there will be key store which hold the private key and the public certificate of the server, and trust store will hold the public key of the client. Whereas at the client end, there will be key store which will hold a private key and the public certificate of client, whereas trust store will hold the public key of the server, right? So what I've told, we will have a on the server side, we will have a key store, we will have a trust store. Trust store will hold a public key of the client, whereas key store will hold a private key and the public key of the server. On the other side, on the client side, it will also have a key store and the trust store. the trust node will hold a public key of the server, and the key stored will hold a private key and the public key of the client. Okay. In two-way SSL, client verifies the server certificate and the server verifies the client certificate. Sometimes two-way SSL is also known as a mutual authentication. Okay. So previously there is a word like SSL, like, currently we are the latest version of SSL is TLS version 1.2. I think TLS version 1.3 also came out now. So TLS stands for transport layer security basically. So now previously it is called as SSL. Up to version 3 it is known as SSL v3. After that the protocol has been changed. The name has changed with TLS version 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, and now the latest one is 1.3 basically. So basically it's very important. So basically in this case the client will send hello to the server and request for the resources. Now server will present a public key to the client. Client will verify the server public key in his trust store. Once the public key has been verified, the client will send a symmetric or encrypted key to the server. Server will decrypt that key using the private key stored in its key store. Once it has been decrypted, it will send the message to the client, I am able to decrypt that. Okay. And also client will send hello back to the client. Server will also send hello back to the client. Okay. And now client server has to verify the client, right? So now server will send its public key. Sorry, client will send its public key to the server. Okay. Now server will go in its trust store and verify the client public certificate. Now server will also generate a symmetric key or encrypted key using the client public key and send back to the client. Now client will decrypt using its private key and send response back to the server, I am able to decrypt. So it means the client has verified the server is trusted, server has verified the client is trusted. This way the secure communication will establish between client and the server. So in this case, the client is making sure it is sending the request to the trusted server, and server will also making sure it is communicating with a trusted client. Basically, I will explain more better with diagram. So this is the server, this is the client. The first thing, what are the different things we will require? So we have a key store, and we have a generally we have a key store. Just ignore this. Basically we will have a key store, and here it will have a trust store basically. So key store will contain a private certificate and the server public certificate basically, whereas it will also server key trust store will contain a public key of the client, whereas at a client side it will contain a trust store as well as key store. Key store will contain a private key of the client, and trust store will contain a public key of the server. Okay. Again I will repeat, it will have on the server side it will have a key store and the trust store. Just forget about this name, I just by mistakenly written. So it will contain a key store and the trust store. Key store will hold a server private key, whereas trust store will hold a client public key. On the client side it will have its own key store and the trust store. The key store will hold a client private key, a trust store will hold a server public key. Okay. So now the client will send hello to the server. Server will accept hello and it will send a public certificate to the client. Now client verify a server public certificate with his trust store, and it will use the same public key to generate a symmetric session key or encrypted key and send back to the server. Now the server will decrypt the symmetric session key using the private key store in the key store. Once it able to decrypt it, the server will send encrypted session key to the client and request for the certificate. Now client will send its public certificate to server. Server will verify its public certificate in the trust store. Okay. And it will also generated a encrypted key using the client public certificate store in its trust store and send to the client, and the client will decrypt that session key using its private key, and it establishes a secure communication between client and server. Okay. So basically I will repeat. So client, as I mentioned, it will have trust store, key store. On server side it will have a key store and the trust store. Both trust store will hold a client public key. key store will hold a server private key, whereas a key store on the client side will hold client public private key, and the trust store will hold a server public certificate. Okay, so now client will send hello and requested for resource from the server. Now the client has to also make sure like I'm sending the request to the trusted server, so there will be the handshake between client and server. So client send hello and request for resource to the server. The server send a public key and say hello back to the client. Client will verify a public certificate in its like server public certificate from its trust store, and it will also generate encrypted key using the public server public certificate, and send that symmetric key to the server. Now the server will use its a private key for decrypting that symmetric key. If it's able to decrypt that, it will send to the client, and the client will it will also request for the certificate. This doesn't happen in the one-way SSL, this request for the certificate. The communication will stop here itself, right? But in two-way SSL, it will again ask for the certificate. The client will send its public certificate to server. Server will verify the public certificate in the trust store where it stored the client certificate. It also generated a symmetric encrypted key and send back to the client. Okay, client will decrypt that and send saying, and it will say I'm able to decrypt that, and there will be a secure communication will enable between client and the server. Any question before I move to demo? See, session key, it can be like any, it can generate any session key, like, no, it's not a question. Any question on that? Ikram, any question? Anybody have any question?
Nothing right now.
Okay.
We have
So
one
now,
question from Srikanth.
okay.
What stops a rogue server imitating an authentic server using a public key?
What like Srikanth, can you like what does this mean? Like, what stop a raw server? Like, what does this mean? Can you? Srikanth?
So Srikanth wants to know, like, how can you avoid phishing? I think so. That was
Okay. So Srikanth, like it's like generally what happened, like generally you can do something like this. Generally what happens, you can give the to the client also you can own private key basically, so basically you can distribute like different private key, like to all the clients. If you want to do that, you can do that. Okay, so like you can configure that public key at your end. Basically you generate a private key and distribute to all the clients basically. That is also possible. That is how we do sometime basically. I generally what I have done, like, so I myself generate a private key and like I give it to the clients. Okay, so that I'm making sure here, like, generally like even somebody get a public key, right? So they will not able to get a private key basically, correct? So that is one thing. So what is the other question? How can you allow access denied to your server based on the client certificate? So as I mentioned, right, we can distribute our own, we can generate the private key and we can give it to a client basically. Okay, so that is how we can excel. Or apart from that, we have some IP whitelisting, IP blacklisting, all those kind of things can be applied on the top of your, HTTP listener or on the top of your request basically. And apart from that, like what happens, I will tell you. I can give an example. So generally, there's a project called Open Banking. Generally, okay. So like what, like Open Banking in banking, like we have to make sure like I'm getting the request from the trusted client. Even like I don't want to get the request from the any other any unknown or any like false client or something like, or bad actor basically. In that case, what happens, we always go and verify that certificate. So generally there are authorities, so there are certificate authorities. So so we can, what we can do, so generally each certificate contains some number. So like certificate number or client ID or whatever. So basically whenever we got the request from the client, we go to that authority, we verify that number, and then we process the request. So that is how we can do. In open banking world, we are doing like that. Whenever we get the request from any client, they send the certificate with that request. We send that certificate to the the certificate authority. That certificate authority validates the certificate and validate all the client number in that certificate and send back to us. If everything is okay, we got 200. Otherwise, we get 401, or 400 bad requests. So we respond back with 400 zero or 400 bad requests. Or sometimes we don't respond also. Generally, we should not respond for such kind of request. Okay. Any question apart from that? Okay. So I will take more question later, so I can go to other slide. So generally we have done top three step, 1, 2, and 3, right? We have already done for like one-way SSL. So now what we have to do, the same step we have to generate a key store, like what we have done till now. I will show with this example. So I have already generated a server key store in one-way SSL and the client trust store in one-way SSL. Now I have to generate a client key store and the server trust store. Okay. So we have done 3 commands already. 1, 2, 3, and this is my 4th command. So generate a client key store. So I am generating a client key store. So this is a client key store. So password I will give same MuleSoft. I will again give this localhost. Okay. So I have generated my key store, a client key store. Now I want to extract a public key from the client private key. Okay. So I can share with server. I generated that. Now I will generate a server trust store. So which will contain a public key of the client. Okay, sorry. Let me. Yes. Okay. So let me go back to my certificate. So I want server trust store and the client key store. I will copy this and I will paste it in my source main resources. Paste it. Okay. So now what I have to do, I have to go to request. On request, I have to configure my key store also. Okay. So basically I can go edit. And where I can go JKS. Then I have to give a client key store. It's client JKS. It's mule hyphen client. Password I kept it as a MuleSoft. Okay. So these are the settings you need to do. Just I want to just make sure like I give the proper alias. Otherwise it will not identify. It's mule client only. Say okay. So this is for like now. Can anybody tell me what I have to do? One step I need to do more, right? On the listener side, what is that? Can anybody tell me like Yeah, so basically generally Igor, like you are asking for lifetime, right? Definitely for like each certificate there's a lifeline like 1 year or 2 year. Basically it depends, like so generally you get a certificate from CA authority, right? It will have a lifetime of 2 years maximum, but you can like uh, ask them to generate for 1 year, 3 months, 4 months, like that. That is possible. Yeah, so basically we need to configure a trust store on the server side. So in this case my HTTP listener is the server. I can edit this. Okay, so I can go back to TLS and so I can say server trust store dot jks. Okay, password is again MuleSoft. You can select jks, open the password server trust store, say okay. Now save everything. Yeah, the application is deployed. Let me test it now. Yeah, we got successful response. You can see that. Okay, so let me. Uh, we got handshake is a successful. Let me try once again. We got handshake is a successful. So this is how you can configure a two-way SSL. For your application. Any question before I move to one more demo? So generally I thought of keeping one more demo. So we have completed two demo. So the third demo will be like this. So implementing HTTPS proxy with MuleSoft. So basically the client will send a request to API proxy on HTTPS. Okay. And we will have a secret manager where we can store key store, trust store, and TLX context. And finally, it will call the HTTP. It will do SSL uploading and call the HTTP application. So I want to show this demo also. So basically, generally, what we do, when we deploy application to runtime manager, right? So we create a proxy. Generally, we create HTTP proxy. There's a possibility you can create the HTTPS proxy for secure communication. So we will going to see that demo. Yeah. Hi, Ikram.
Sridhar has a question. Like he wants to know this. Wants you to show the configuration for HTTP listener.
Yeah, Sridhar, I will definitely show you. So Sridhar, what I have done, no? So basically, I will show you. I will show you for requester also. So basically, I want to enable the two-way SSL. So for what I've done, so I have used all the configuration from one-way SSL. Okay. So now for enabling two-way SSL, I have configured a server client key store. So basically, I have configured this particular thing, a client key store. Basically, if you see key store configured on the HTTP requester, where I give this client key store, mule client, whatever. This is what I have done. Now, next thing what I've done, now HTTP listener is the server for us, right? So we have to configure a trust store there. Okay, so I edit it. I can go to TLS, and here you can see a trust server trust store. Basically, I have configured that. Okay, which contain a public key of a client, basically public key of the request, basically. Okay, and this key store we have configured during the one-way SSL. Okay, any other question before I move to other demo? Yeah, generally, client, yes, key store generally, as I mentioned, private key have a public key. So you can extract public key from private key. Okay, Vamsi, you can definitely do that. You can always do that. So your private key always contain a public key. So I will move to next demo. I will move to Anypoint platform. So I have to configure some certificates. So I can go to secret manager. Okay, I can remove this existing. Let me delete this. So basically, what is a secret manager? Basically, secret manager is used to store your certificates, trust store, key store, TLX context. You can create everything in the secret manager. Basically, it's a vault for storing your key store and the trust store in the secure way. Okay. So I have a few questions. Basically, like, can I externalize a certificates in the Cloud Hub? Can I do that? Can I externalize a certificate in the Cloud Hub? So basically, I want my trust store and key store has to be keep at some location, and all the application can use that key store and trust store. It is possible? No, you cannot store a certificate in the object store. No, it's not possible. So basically, you have to create a separate trust store and the key store for each and every application. Because what happens when you deploy the application on the Mule like runtime manager in the Cloud Hub, it create a separate EC2 instance. It's separate AWS machine on the backend. It install a separate runtime. Then it run the application on that particular runtime. So you have to configure a separate key store and the trust store for each and every application. But for on-premise, for customer hosted Mule runtime, it is possible. Basically, you can externalize that. You can keep the trust store and key store on the server at some location. And while configuring a path, while configuring the certificate, you can define the path here. So right now I kept at the class path, right? So I don't have to give a full path. So in that case, if you are keeping somewhere in the server, you can give the path here, full path. So that is how you can externalize. On the customer hosted runtime, you can use this single key store and single trust store for all the application. It is possible. For Cloud Hub, it is not possible. Okay. So let me move to other demo, secret manager. So I will create a secret group. So I can mark this as a I can say Mule demo group and save. Then let me check. Okay, I can say edit. Then I can say key store. So I want to add key store first thing. Okay, so I can say Mule key store. I can remove this. Okay, a type of key store is GKS, and I can use the same key store which I've generated just now. Okay, so I will use some server key store. Let me check certificates. Yeah, server key store.jks. What is your passphrase? It's a key store password, MuleSoft. And once if the password is right, it will automatically show the what are the certificates available. Right now, only one private key with LS Mule server. You have to give a key passphrase, MuleSoft, and just save. Okay, you have added your GKS. Now you have to create a TLX context. So you cannot directly configure JKS on your proxy. You have to create the TLX context for that. So basically here also we are creating TLX context, right? If you see in the backend, in the configuration XML, it creates a TLX context. In the TLX context, we have a key store and trust store. Okay. So same thing we are doing it here. So I can say Mule TLS. Okay. And like you can select the target. I want for Mule application. So I can say Mule. Then key store, you have to select the key store. I don't have any trust store. Because I'm just showing one-way SSL. You cannot achieve a two-way SSL using proxy. For that, you have to use the dedicated load balancer. Save. Okay. The one thing you always forget to do that. So you go back to secret group and make sure you always click on this finish. Finish. Okay. The next thing, I have completed my configuration on the secret manager. The next thing, I can go to my API manager. Okay, I can say manage API, create new API. I can say Mule time zone API. Okay, and I can select HTTP API. I can say continue. So I'm creating the proxy. I want to create a proxy endpoint with proxy on the Cloud Hub. It's Mule 4. Yes, I want to give a implementation URL. So basically, this is my implementation URL. I will not give full URL. So this particular URL returns some JSON message. No, I can show that. Okay. So this is some third-party API. I want to create a proxy on the top of it, which is HTTPS enabled. Okay. So Control V. Then go to add advanced option. Okay, and advanced option you can say HTTPS, and you have to add a TLX context. For now, what we are doing, we have to enable HTTPS, and like we have to add a TLX context. Select your Mule demo group and select your context and say OK. Okay, this is the settings you need to do for enabling the HTTPS proxy. everything is good. Let me verify. If everything is good, then I can say save. Generally, MuleSoft deploy application on 8082 for HTTPS, 8081 for HTTP. And I can say Mule time zone app. Okay. I want to select, sorry, I want to select the version, and I can say app, and I will say deploy. Okay. Any question till it's deploying the application?
Yeah.
No, you, yes, Suraj, we cannot do that. Okay. Yes, yes, Igor, yeah, you can definitely enable a two-way SSL on dedicated load balancer without proxy. Proxy doesn't support, two-way SSL. Using secret manager, we are not externalize the key store and trust of a cloud. No, currently it is not possible. Okay, it is not possible. Yeah, it is possible for like API proxy and like endpoint security, but not for the application deploy for the cloud up. I think MuleSoft will definitely, come up with some. They are planning to come up with something like where you can externalize the trust store and key store, and which can be used by multiple application. Okay, Suraj. So let what it will do, it will deploy one proxy application in runtime manager. Let me check. Okay, so let me copy the URL till application is deploying. Okay, you got the successful response on the HTTPS URL. So what happened? So generally, I send the request on proxy on HTTPS, and like it will do the SSL uploading and send the request to this particular URL. So basically, our implementation URL is this. So this particular URL, this URL will replace with this part, and rest of the part will remain same. Basically, whatever we are passing. Okay. So this is how you can enable a HTTPS proxy on the MuleSoft. Can you explain how can we externalize certificate when no like Hemganta, like we cannot do that, right? So basically it is not possible for now. Like you have to install your certificate with your application when you are deploying your application on the cloud. Are you talking about the secret manager, how you create? Akshay, like it's very simple. Like right now, I don't have a dedicated load balancer enabled on my this particular account, right? It's not generally on my account, right? Yeah, you have some like it just you have to export the PM file. Like you have there's a drop down, on dedicated load balancer. You have something called client certificate option where you can just tell this is the certificate I need to add for the two-way SSL communication. Hemkanta, are you asking me about how we can configure on the secret manager, right? For Cloud Hub, it is not possible. For application deployed to Cloud Hub, it is not possible. It has to be with each and every application at a class path, basically. Okay. So what I've done, I will tell you. I think Hemkanta asking about the secret manager only.
One more thing, Hemkanta actually saying some of the clients wants to replace the updated certificate without restarting the application.
Right now, Hemkanta, it is not possible. So basically, I told you like they will come up with something like in future, like they are doing something on that. Okay. So generally, right now, like it's not possible. So better solution, you keep your application on HTTP, okay, and like you enable the HTTPS proxy. The other solution, you use the dedicated load balancer, keep your dedicated load balancer on HTTPS and keep your application on HTTP. So request will come on HTTPS, it do the SSL uploading and send the request to the application. So that is how it's possible for now. See, yes, it's already, because what is happening, like MuleSoft, whatever certificate we are sending, right? So MuleSoft replace that certificate with CA sign, basically, So CA sign certificate is automatically recognized on all the browsers, basically. Okay, Rangarajan, it's by default a CA sign certificate configured on your most of the browser. Self sign certificate is not configured. That's why we have to pass with each and every request. So generally, what you do, what happens when you deploy the application, if you see this, open this certificate, that certificate will get replaced with MuleSoft certificate, that cloudup.io, and you can see it's a CA sign certificate. Okay. So Ikram, like this is all about demonstration on like one-way SSL, two-way SSL, and like implementing HTTPS proxy with MuleSoft.
Thanks, Zaki. So any more questions, anyone? Okay, there's one from Varuna.
When Salesforce make a call out to API in the MuleSoft, Salesforce client and the MuleSoft is a server. If it is a remote call, MuleSoft makes a API query in Salesforce. MuleSoft is a client and the Salesforce. In this case, so in this case, you have to do a lot of things, like So basically, first thing, like see, you have to configure at least 2 trust store on the MuleSoft side, 2 key store on the MuleSoft side, or otherwise you can keep 1 key store and 1 trust store. Okay, and see, basically it's a bit complex, like like Salesforce to MuleSoft. Let's consider you have to enable the communication, like like Salesforce private key, like Salesforce public key has to be configured on the MuleSoft side, right? MuleSoft public key has to be configured on the Salesforce side. For second communication, again, like MuleSoft public key. Yeah, Sridhar, that is also possible. Like MuleSoft is also providing the connected apps now. But if you want to do through application, then in that case you have to create public key and the like you have to configure a key store and the trust store. So like let me answer Varuna, like for your answer, like MuleSoft and Salesforce is the client. So basically, let's consider MuleSoft is my server and the Salesforce is my client. So in that case, you want to configure 1 key store and 1 trust store. On Salesforce side, you can have a configure 1 key store and the trust store. Okay. So like in that key store, you will have a private key. On Salesforce side, keys, there will be private key of the Salesforce. Now you can have a one trust store, basically. Okay. That trust store can contain the public key of the Salesforce, whereas the Salesforce can contain the public key of the MuleSoft, basically, right? If you do this configuration, right, it will automatically communicating with each other. That is the only configuration you have to do, Varuna. Like if you does that, it will start communicating like two-way SSL. Okay. Yeah, Ikram, you can go ahead. Yes, Sridhar, you are right. You can make use of connected apps. So MuleSoft is also providing connected apps now.
Okay, if no more questions, then we can start with the quiz. So let me quickly share a demo question just to check whether you are able to access that one.
See, Sridhar, basic endpoint is used for API auto discovery. In that case, it will not create any proxy application. It will automatically peer application running in the runtime manager to the API manager. It will not deploy any extra proxy application or that. It will just enable API auto discovery for your application.
Okay. So can we go with the questions, Jackie? I'm just pinging a URL. Can everyone access it? It's just a dummy question just to make sure everyone are able to access it. Okay, in the meantime, Suraj has a question. So wherever we have DLB, proxy API is not required at all.
Generally, it's not like that. If you want to create a proxy API, you can create it. Proxy API is basically is to hide your implementation. But generally, if you are creating the dedicated load balancer, right, you don't require any proxy API basically. So generally, think why you create a dedicated load balancer? Why, Suraj? So basically, when you create a VPC, when you deploy application within the VPC, right? you can create if you want to access the application within the VPC, you create a dedicated load balancer for that. So yeah, so generally I will say when your application deployed in the VPC, they are secured, right? They cannot directly access by anyone. So you don't have to create a proxy. You can directly use the dedicated load balancer to access the application within the VPC. Okay.
Okay. So can everyone access the URL and able to? Okay. Okay. So please make sure you give the names when you enter. So I'll give 30 seconds, 35 seconds for the answers questions to be answered. So I'll set on the timer in this URL. So let me see. I'll give 35 seconds, just 5 seconds in case you want to enter the names. Okay, here comes the first question. So I'm just posting on the chat. Okay, and the time starts now. You have 35 seconds to answer the questions, Sridhar. Okay, the time is up. So let me quickly. Just give me a minute. I'm just pulling the results. I've got 24 responses. Let's see. So can everyone see? Okay, the answer is private key. So almost everyone had answered the same. Someone has missed to give the name, so I'm not sure who. So I'll go ahead. Okay, here's the list of all the names. So let's see who's the lucky winner today. Okay, it's Harish Guluru. Congrats, Krish. So can you just send me your email in the chat? Yeah, Harish, can you please ping me your email ID? Okay, got it. So the next question is coming up now. So let me go ahead and start the timer. Yeah, I pinged the second question. So please go ahead and answer. The timer starts now. Okay, the timer is up. So let me quickly pull the results. Okay, we have 26 responses here. So I'll just filter the right one. The answer is mutual authentication. So okay, let's see who the winner is this time. Can anyone see my screen? Jitendra, can you see my wheel of name screen?
No.
Okay, let me again quickly share. Okay, can you now anyone see? Okay, let me start now. Okay, it's Raju. Congrats, Raju. Can you just ping me your email ID? Raju, I'm waiting for your email ID, so just let me know. Yeah, I think so. He said this already, so I don't know how he predicted its future. Any wild guess, Raju? Who will be the next winner then? Okay. Yeah, I noted down his email ID as well. Okay, so the next question is coming up. I'm going to give the next question. So yeah, I've given the next question. So the timer starts now. Okay, the time is up. So let me. So we have 26 responses. Let me refresh for the last time. Yeah. So these are the people who responded. So I think so everyone had responded, right? Okay, some had, I think so someone looked into transparent layer security. That's not the right answer. Okay, there are. Let me quickly share the. Okay, now let me spin it again for the third winner. It's Srikant. Congrats, Srikant. Srikant, so can you just send me your email ID? Okay, got Srikant's email ID. So we'll just quickly. Quickly sharing my screen so that you can confirm whether the email IDs are right. So it was Harish Krishna and Raju and Srikant. So I think so, your email IDs are right. So please confirm if you are fine with it. Yes, Sunil, I will be sharing the slide deck. Okay, so I think so we are good. Thanks, thanks, Jackie. Thanks so much for your wonderful presentation and hoping to have you again in some of the future indie meetups. Thanks once again. Thanks so much for everyone.
Thanks everyone. Thank you.
And please feel free to give us a feedback so that we can improve ourselves. And in case if anyone is interested in being a speaker in the future indie meetups, please email me and you can always get in touch with us. And Jackie, thanks once again for so much and hope to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Ikram.
everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.